Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. I am Van, and we are all the LFR family, man. I am excited to be back, brothers and sisters. It's beautiful to see y'all on the other side of the screen. Y'all are dope. Come on, give me a fist pump. Some of y'all didn't give me one. There you go. I am in my new space, still moving stuff. Gotta hang up my pictures and stuff. Gotta move some stuff around this whole house. But guess what? I am ready to get back to the business of learning and sharing and loving and drawing a bridge from one side to the other so that there be more understanding, and from that understanding, love, and so many other things. So that's exactly what we're going to do, man. I'm about to check out Jesse Lee Peterson. He's having a conversation with this woman who's apparently going to get in his skin. Her name is, what's her name? Heated debate, Jesse versus diversity and inclusion. I guess we'll find her name out during the debate. But guys, I'm going to do my promos at the end of the video, so please hang on. I'm not going to do them right now. I'm going to do them at the end, all right? Man, I'm so excited to be back. Y'all are dope. Y'all are dope. So let's go and check this out. Not going to waste any more time. Yeah. Let's go.
But yet they supposed to be strong.
I hear the president of the United States been complaining for 4 years. Those people that stormed the Capitol because they were complaining about what was going on in their country. Everybody complains when they are unhappy. That is not that's not owned by any one group of people.
But I don't hear the president complaining. The president is dealing with evil. But what I want to know, you have not answered for me yet.
Sure.
Women are always complaining, but yet they say they're strong. You don't hear that from men.
I don't hear women complaining any more than men.
No, I hear it all the time. They want a law for this. He abusive. He did this and he did that. And we need a law.
You said he's abusive, and you believe that a woman should sit quietly while she's being abused by any other person, man or woman or otherwise?
No,
that complaint you would like to register as an illegitimate complaint because someone is being abused?
I believe that women should admit how women are more abusive than men are 10 times.
No. Statistically speaking,
this is good. This is good. You know what? She is going back and forth with him, and she is going to get a rise out of him. I already know she is going to get a rise out of him. What's her daggone name, man? What's your name, sweetheart? What's her name? Let me see. In this episode, highlight of Fallen Mothers of Jesse Lee Peterson interviews Dr. Tiffany Jana, a diversity, equity, and inclusion leader and CEO of TMI Portfolio. Okay, here we go. Let's get to it.
Absolutely not.
This is lie.
Go look at the roles.
But they lie on those. That's because women are complaining about men, so they report it, right? So what I'm encouraging men to do now is when women are abusive, call the cops immediately, have them arrested, and throw away the key. And then
anyone who is committing abuse to another human being should be held accountable. I completely agree with you on that front. And everything
if the men were to call the cops, the jails would be overflowing with women.
That's true.
But I thought that you said that the men are inherently stronger.
Well, inherently stronger does not mean that we want to sit and get beat on all the daggone time. I mean, because that's what happens. I mean, do we think about what women do versus what men do and get away with? Women can key your daggone car, can beat you, scratch you, like do all these other type of things, and you can't even think to report them. Now, first I want to say, any woman or man who have gone through abuse from anyone, you know what I mean? I'm not playing with this. I know that there's real issues. I know that women have gone through issues with men and they couldn't get any justice. As a matter of fact, I know a couple personally who it happened to, and they couldn't get any justice at all. But for the most part, a woman can do pretty much whatever she wants and then call the police on the man, and the police will still remove the man from the household. And that's not a joke. That's not a game at all. It does happen.
and that the women are so incredibly weak. So how are all of these terribly weak women overpowering these super strong men?
Because the men are afraid of the law. They're afraid to go to jail. And so they allow these women to, they allow these women to do it.
Where's this fear coming from?
So
this
I'm telling them to reverse the law. And so when
she's definitely single. She's single. And if she's not single, I want to interview her husband.
When a woman is like that, call the cop, put them in jail.
You can't have it both ways, boo-boo.
Yes, you
can't have it both ways. You can't say that they are so incredibly strong and infallible, and then that they're too scared to call the police because someone's hurting them. If somebody is hurting the man,
they're not afraid. They feel sorry for the woman. They'll say, oh, I hate to put her in jail. Oh, the kids need the mother, right? I'm saying, put that woman in prison.
That is interesting because that does not track with your depiction of the stronger gender.
So should differences between people be celebrated simply because they're different?
People should be celebrated because they're people. Our species is incredible, and its diversity is precisely why it's incredible. The differences between people are extraordinary. When you travel around the world and you see all of the different food, all of the different architecture, the accomplishments, the things that the human species has done, and the various ways that we express ourselves are sacred. If you profess to be a Christian, then you understand that it is our differences that over time have made us so incredibly extraordinary. And those are things that would be that have been celebrated by Christ, that are celebrated by God, because God created those differences and they're gorgeous. Absolutely, we should celebrate people because we are people, because we are all God's glorious and beautiful children in our perfection, in our imperfection, in our failures, in our strengths. That is part of the human condition, and it's sacred and it's gorgeous.
I will tell y'all this. I love her confidence. I love her confidence. I haven't heard enough from her to know where she's correct or where she's not, where she's wrong. But so far, just watching her talk, she speaks with a certain level of confidence that's extremely empowering for other women who watch her speak, for other people who follow her. I can imagine that they get some type of encouragement and inspiration from just her energy alone. Now, I'm about to continue to listen to her because I do want to see how Jesse Lee Peterson goes back and forth with her, because I do understand this is supposed to get a little heated. So let's see what happens.
But all people are not children of God. Only those who have returned to the fathers are children of God. The rest of them are children of Satan. And so in the good old days, when boys were boys and men were men, weakness was not celebrated. But the Christian will show the weak how to overcome weakness by returning to the Father, because weakness is not good for anyone.
She's going to respond like a mom. Very emotional. God loves everyone the same. And she's probably going to consider her own children in her explanation of why Jesse is wrong.
Weakness is part of the human condition.
But not from God, it's from Satan. Only it's not good to be weak.
Why did Christ allow himself to be captured, beaten, crucified?
Because
that was a show of weakness. And that was a show of weakness. That was a show of weakness for the rest of us to know that no matter what happens in our life.
That was not a show of weakness. What? That wasn't a show of weakness. Oh, let me show everybody how weak I am. No, that was a show of power. What are you talking about? At least that's how I was taught it. That was not a show of weakness. Why was he captured and beaten? No. Nah, it was honorable, the fact that he did that. He did that because he was supposed to do that. It was written. It wasn't a show of weakness. Let me show y'all how y'all can be weak too. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to get beaten and taken advantage of. No, that was not what Bible are you reading, lady?
Lives that we can endure, and even to the point of death. that in Christ we will be rejoined with God. That was weakness, to allow yourself to be captured,
That was not
to allow
weakness.
someone to put a crown of thorns on your head and beat it into your skull, to allow yourself to be flogged and cut.
How do you see any of that as weakness if you're allowing that to happen in order for you to send a message to your people? That right there is strength. What is she talking about? I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a Bible student, a Bible scholar, but please feel free to correct me and let me know what that part was about, because I don't have a concordance or anything around me right now where I can go back to that time in the Bible and see exactly what it was supposed to be for, what it was supposed to represent. But the way I look at it, that wasn't about weakness. Now, if it was, feel free to correct me. And if I read what you say and it rings true, then hey, my mind will be changed. I'm not stubborn.
And spat upon, disrobed, legs broken, with a sword slammed into your side, and then crucified and died. That is not like the strong man of the species. Like if strength was paramount and that defined humanity, then our Lord and Savior would never have submitted to the abuse of man.
And she was so now this right here is the moment when her confidence to me comes off as stupidity. Now, she's a doctor, so she's not stupid by any stretch. All right. But the things that we choose to believe along our path, those things can make us a bit ignorant. And what she just now said, how she says it, is clearly she was not taught the Bible correctly, in my opinion. But I can be wrong. I've been wrong a whole lot in my life.
Christ had a primary purpose, and his purpose was to come and defeat Satan. And because at that time, Satan had control of the people, and the people were weak and subject to evil. And so Christ came to defeat Satan, and he did that. So he had to go through that. He had a purpose.
Be quiet,
and his
lady.
purpose
Let
was
him talk.
to defeat Satan, so that
Christ God?
God dang it. Can you let him talk, please? Sheesh. Let him talk.
can
Sure.
be made strong.
Is
and that's
Christ God?
Hold on 1 minute. That's what his purpose was.
Understood.
So God sent his son in order to make a way so those can so they can overcome weakness by returning to the Father.
Beautiful. Is Christ God?
No, he's the Son of God.
So Christ is the Son of God. Is Christ powerful at all? Or is Christ the weak Son of God?
He is the powerful Son of God because the Father works in him.
So he's the powerful Son of God. The Father works in him. And the Father God could have chosen any way imaginable to defeat Satan. If power and strength and eliminating any vestige of human weakness.
See, this right here is when she allows her years of studies and her years of talking down to men to cause her to completely disregard and discombobulate the whole story of the Bible just so she can make a point. She does not sound nearly as intelligent as she believes she does. She sounds extremely unintelligent to me.
Were the ideal outcome and goal if God was trying to teach us a lesson that you must be strong and only strong and never cry.
Oh my gracious.
He cried tears of blood in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? If we were never supposed to show any weakness, then God could have sent his powerful son, worked through his powerful son, and defeated Satan and all of the demons with a display of strength unbeknownst to man. That could have happened. But you know what God chose? God chose to defeat Satan through the weakness of man.
The weakness. How do you see that as weakness, lady? That's why Jesse Lee Peterson keep laughing at you. Because you really want to see that as weakness? Why do you want to see that as weakness? do you want to see that? See, that's the part right there. I want to know why you need to see that part as weakness. It's like you need to see that as weakness.
And that is a very different lesson. God could have showed us that strength was paramount and that was the only acceptable way through life.
I don't quite know.
That's not what God wanted to do.
No, you got it all wrong. I know it may sound good when you say that, but it's all wrong. Christ was strong because the Father in him was strong. So when you overcome Satan, the children of the lie overcome the devil, Satan, right, and return to the Father, they got to overcome the mother because the mother is weak. And all those who are born through the mother are dying, but those who return to the Father are living. And so the weak become strong by returning to the Father. So and that's what the purpose of Christ was.
Sure. So there's something.
It's not sure. It's not sure. Like, you need to learn how to listen. She's already... She was listening to respond the entire time. That's not a conversation. You're not listening to learn anything. You don't want to learn anything. You can care less. You think that you're the smartest person in the room. You're not. You're speaking to somebody who's extremely patient. While you're raising your voice, he is smiling and laughing at what you're saying. He's allowing you to speak and he's not cutting you off. And then when you're done going through your whole rhetoric that you're doing, he then corrects you with the actual meaning behind the passage that in the Bible that you're speaking of. This is what he does. This is what he does. You can learn something. I'm talking to this daggone camera as if she's going to see it. I hope she does. And I would like to. Some people are just too smart for their own good sometimes, man.
So you're saying then that weakness was purposeful. I have met, known, loved, and worked with at this point probably millions of people and impacted millions of people around the world. And
because of that resume, you think you're correct. You are not correct on this one right here. Okay.
Know to be a fact of the human condition is that it is not in our moments of strength and in our moments of ease when things are comfortable and wonderful and shiny and full of rainbows. That is not when we learn and grow. And people often do not find themselves leaning on and turning to God in their moments of strength, in their moments of power. It is in the moments of human weakness. It's when people are confronted with the satanic energy. It's when people are confronted with the darkness and the reality sometimes of their worst choices that God speaks to them and says, "Hey, boo-boo, do you need me now?" It is through the moments of people's worst weakness and their worst choices that they turn to God.
But you don't truly believe that, though, because if you believe that, you wouldn't go to a business and try to tell the owner of a business to tiptoe around its employees.
Hey,
you would tell the employees, that they need to be right, do right.
She cannot listen without interrupting. What is her issue? Shut the hell up, lady.
Or they're going to get fired.
You're telling me.
If you truly believe, because you're right. You're right about in our weakness is when God make us strong and we know how to endure. But if you truly believe that, you would tell the blacks and the homosexuals and the women that y'all got to act right, do the right thing on the job, be on time, stop complaining, do your work. You wouldn't tell the boss to tiptoe around the weak.
I tell everybody who I encounter, including you, that you need to act right all the time.
Do you say that to the blacks too?
You're telling me, I don't discriminate the way that you do, clearly.
What do you mean?
People, listen, no. You're telling me how I should show up in a workplace.
Yeah.
I've been in business for 17 years, and I have never knocked on a business.
Again, with her resume. Her resume is very impressive to her. Her resume is extremely impressive to her. Her bank account gives her a pass to feel like what she's saying is honorable. That's where she's clipping up.
Business's door and solicited their business. People come to me.
You hear that? You hear that? You hear that? She really feel like she is that guy. She is not married. And if she is, oh my God, somebody go find him and give him a hug, please.
And they ask me for my help.
Well, that's because the white people are afraid of the blacks now. They're afraid because they're trying to figure out, Lord, I gotta hide these blacks.
I've been doing this for 25 years.
They're like, Lord, I gotta hide these blacks, and I don't know how to deal with them. So I'm gonna bring in somebody.
When did white people get scared of black people?
Listen, lady, can you have a conversation? Can you? At all? Who raised you? She is getting on my damn nerves, man. And most people don't get on my nerves. Most people don't get on my nerves, man. I'm very patient. I'm probably more patient than daggone Jesse Lee Peterson. But this lady right here, whew.
For the last 70 years, they're afraid of being called racist. They're afraid of being sued. They're not afraid of the black person per se, but they're afraid of being sued or called racist. But I want to ask you,
why would they be afraid of being sued if they weren't doing anything wrong?
But they're not. The black person just have to say it, and then
for the same reason why black people claim to be afraid to be pulled over by the police, even when we're not doing anything wrong. Think about that. Come on now. This ain't chess. It ain't checkers. Y'all are just simply having a conversation. Have that conversation. A lot of times people miss out on opportunities when they're having conversations with people online who have reach. You've got reach. All you want your people to see is that you won a conversation. And if they are objective listeners, they're not going to tell you because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But you're not winning this conversation because only one person is having a conversation. The other person is having a debate. You understand? And you can still have a debate and listen. You're not doing that. You're not listening to understand. You're listening to respond, and that's it.
The courts or whatever assume that
the courts are biased in favor of black people. What state do you live in?
Yes, they are.
What state do you live in? California?
Yes.
Yeah, the courts. Okay, the courts, statistically and objectively speaking, are not biased in favor of black people. If white people are
that's
scared
not
of
true.
That is
Believe me,
absolutely
I
true.
heard of tons of. I know businessmen.
I told you earlier. It's about looking at the data.
I told you earlier that a lot of businesses don't want to hire blacks because in California, New York,
racist.
and other states, they're afraid of being sued.
Because they're racist.
So let me ask, before we talk about your brand new book, you also wrote a book called Overcoming Bias. Mm-hmm. And is it ever okay to be biased?
Everyone is always biased. That's part of the human condition.
Is it okay to be that way?
It just depends on what it is. I prefer chocolate ice cream over vanilla ice cream, and it doesn't matter. But if I say I prefer chocolate people over vanilla people, and I'm running a company and I'm only hiring vanilla people, then yes, that's a problem.
So is it okay to be biased?
It's human to be biased.
And so it's normal?
It's normal, yes.
Right. Is it okay to discriminate?
No, you should. I mean, not against people. No, you shouldn't discriminate against people.
Do you ever just particularly what?
It is illegal to discriminate against people in protected categories.
Do you ever discriminate?
Everyone discriminates.
How about you?
Yes, of course.
And so if it's not good to do that, why do you do it?
I don't do it on purpose, and I check myself.
You discriminate accidentally?
Huh?
You discriminate accidentally?
That's what unconscious bias is.
But it's a God-given right to discriminate. It's not something you made of yourself.
No, it's not. But I try. I work every day to overcome it because these are not things. I can't wave a magic wand. And I tell the disclaimer for that book is, you read this book, you're not going to be free of all your bias. If you are a responsible human being with a good and loving heart, whether that's a Christian heart, a Muslim heart, a Jewish heart, or an atheist heart, if you have a good and loving heart and you care about the well-being of human beings, then you will take the work upon yourself to try to purge your biases. And every time you purge one, a new one gonna pop up behind it because it's called being human. But you'll work to purge your biases and you will work to hold yourself accountable. And when you catch yourself discriminating, you'll back up, you'll acknowledge it, and you'll apologize to the person in front of you who you may have caused harm. That's
Amazing.
how I roll.
Do you love white people?
I love all people.
How about white people?
All people.
Do you love
Yes,
white people?
White people, black people, Asian people, Jewish people, Christians, atheists, agnostics, Gnostics, all of the people. I love them all.
Do you love white people?
Yes, all people.
Do you love white people?
I love all people.
But
yes.
I'm not asking about all people, just white.
Sure. But I don't love white people exclusive of other people.
Joe Biden said he
She's just difficult just for the sake of being difficult.
want to put blacks, Native Americans, I think that's the Indians, Latinos, and women first. Is that bias against white men to do that?
No, what he is doing is he is trying to create balance and equity.
Is that bias against white men to do that?
No, white men have the automatic advantage, the automatic unearned advantage.
Is that inclusive of white men?
White men, let's go through the government. Let's go through the entire United States government across all 50 states and count the number of white people and white men, and then tell me whether or not that's exclusive of white men.
So you
Who
think
predominates the roles in the United States government, in the federal government and all 50 states? White people are not being discriminated against in government jobs.
So you think that it's okay to skip over the white men and put all these other folks in front of them?
I think that white men have ample opportunity to be successful in every aspect of American life and work.
I mean, you're right in that white people, especially white men, are more aggressive. They tend to go after what they want. They build. They don't blame others for their downfall, for their weakness. They tend to conquer their weakness and overcome. So white, because if you notice,
Please don't say anything positive about white people to her. Don't say anything positive. What are you trying to say? That they don't complain? You're trying to say that they don't complain. That's the reason why they're hard workers. Is that what you're trying to say?
You're ascribing a lot of virtuous values to white men, and in many cases, those things can very well be true. But our entire economic and societal structure has been created and formed and supported in a way that makes it easy for white men to enjoy those advantages.
It don't. And it sucks that she says that, man, because it's horrible that you say that, actually. I've met a great deal of white men that I've worked alongside, and I worked for the federal government for 17 years. Before that, I was installing security systems, like actually installing with the alarms, and people opening the doors with a little button under their desk, and it opens up the door, and all of those things for like 4 years. And I worked around mostly white men, and none of them were like had an advantage over me. None of them. The person who worked, he kept his head down, out of trouble, and just got things done, they were the ones that succeeded. Same thing with my wife. My wife is a black woman. In her field, she's almost always had a managerial position, and it was right alongside other people who worked for their positions. Sometimes it was white men, sometimes it was white women, sometimes it was other black women. Not really too many black men in her field, but still. So I understand you're in your African garb and everything, and you don't want to give any credit where it's due. But objectivity, you know what? This is why I say it's unfortunately, you cannot give people advice once they've found success by simply being themselves. Like if they've been themselves, like Candace Owens doing a video talking about Cardi B. Cardi B was able to go through her whole life being a stripper and rapping and setting dudes up to be robbed. Like literally doing what Bill Cosby was doing to people, giving them little pills and they fall asleep. And her and her girls was robbing people. And that right there is who Cardi B is. But she's rose to become a multimillionaire. So now she's unapologetic about who she is. So anybody telling her that you're not supposed to be this, you should be that, she's going to look at you like, I'm way more successful than you. I don't call people, people call me. I talk to millions of people all over the world. Trust me, I know more than you. The same type of thing that's coming from this young lady right here. She's not hearing anything Jesse Lee Peterson has to say. She looks at him as an opposition. She looks at him as a man trying to tell her to be submissive as a woman. And that's not what he's trying to do at all. He's actually just trying to have a conversation with her and tell her what he's noticed. And she could say, all right, I don't agree, but I understand what you're saying. You're not going to hear I understand come out of her mouth at all, because that's just not in her DNA. She's been able to get very far by simply being what we're seeing right now.
They're not like inherent. White men don't have a special magical license on power and strength and on the ability to overcome. They absolutely do complain. Hello, everyone complains. That's part of being human. So there's the water that white men are swimming in favors them, so those things are easier.
But the reason
it's not
for
natural,
that,
that's not something inherent.
But the reason for that is because, as you know, white men founded and discovered the greatest country in the world.
That soda been gone like 10, 20 minutes ago, but she's still trying to drink it because she knows that she should just shut up. Like, you're using up all of the fluid from your mouth to run it, and you could just relax and not have to. Like, just chill, wow, and just chill.
America, right? And so they made it.
They discovered it? It wasn't here before white men got here?
No. And they created the greatest country on this side of heaven, right? And so naturally
they created it?
Yeah.
There was nothing here before white men got here?
When the Indian was here, but they were smoking pot and doing nothing with the land.
They were protecting the land.
Were out killing
they were preserving
animals.
the land.
They were killing animals and smoking pot. But let me ask.
So wait, are you a vegan?
What he's saying is that there was no productivity. Nothing was being built. Use deductive reasoning. You're a doctor. You know what he's saying. So you're saying nobody else was here? Like, somebody was here before they came. He said, yeah, but they had no plan. They weren't doing anything. They were preserving the land. That's all they were doing. Like, this land, we're going to call this land this. We're going to do nothing. We're going to enjoy it. Just enjoy the land. Let's just enjoy the land. Not going to develop anything. Just enjoy the land. I'm not going to make any buildings. Go get some sticks. Create these teepees. Not to be disrespectful to the natives. My family are natives. But I'm saying, at some point, this young lady, well, no, she's not. She's already successful, so she don't have to understand anybody.
No, I love animal meat.
So they were killing animals,
But they
and they were
weren't
eating
making
them.
it great. They were just out here running around being crazy.
Oh,
But
that's some real disrespectful stuff that you just said. Every indigenous person on every continent begs to differ that they were there and that they were stewards of the land. They were much better
that
stewards
just
of the
sounds
land.
pretty. That's not reality. But
You
let
said
me
what?
ask, that sound pretty. They were stewards of the land. That
Wait a
wasn't
minute, hold on.
reality.
We ain't had no environmental crisis when the Native Americans were in charge.
Amazing,
We have
because they didn't do anything.
We have destroyed the lands, huh?
They didn't do it. So if they were so smart, why there are parts of the country that the white man has given over to the Indian? Y'all can have it, go build casinos, and all they're doing now is making money, getting high, and doing dope and killing one another.
If I stick you out in the barren desert, kill all of the animal livestock that you sustained on, and don't give you any support and resources and take everything away from you, that's not an opportunity to succeed. I give you a sandbox and I say, why did you not build a mansion out of this sandbox?
And why didn't they? If they were so smart, why wouldn't they take a sandbox and build a mountain out of it?
Oh, God,
That's what smart people do. Look at the white folks.
It's not about intelligence.
Look at the white people. They take a sandbox and build a mountain out of it. And
I don't know about white people, but I do know the Egyptians took a sandbox and built pyramids. But at the end of the day, she's not trying to understand. And Jesse Lee Peterson knows that he has a worm. He got a fish on the line. He's just pulling it in. He's just pulling it in. He knows he has a fish on the line, so he's stepping it up a bit. We all know what he does when he know that he got him. And I wish that this was a face-to-face interview, because she is she's something else. She is something else. But anyway, y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, hopefully inside of the Patreon as well. Y'all have been amazing per usual. Love y'all. Don't forget, we have hats and shirts. We got a lot of hoodies and everything's, man, just put an LFR 10 at hatsforsale.com. You get 10% off and free shipping anywhere in America. Also, this video has been sponsored by BlueMonsterPrep.com. Go check them out for all of your preparation needs, just in case the lights go out or you run out of water, or somebody's bleeding profusely and you need to stop it, or you just need first aid kits, or you just like gas mask, anything. A shortage of food and you need to plant your own. They have seeds for food. They have already made food that can last 25 years in a bag, the same way that the soldiers eat when they're out there and they're fighting. So let me tell y'all something. Visit BlueMonsterPrep.com when you have a moment and just check it out. And if you spend more than $100 and you use code LFR at Blue Monster Prep, you're going to definitely get free shipping, but you're going to get a few special gifts as well. And make sure you tell Gina and Patrick that I said hello and that I sent you. And they're actually on the Facebook group as well. So y'all can pop up over there and say hello whenever y'all get a moment. That's pretty much all I have. See y'all next time. Love you. Yeah.